Over 20,000 people have banded together to try and save Star Wars Battlefront 2. If I'm to be specific, as I'm recording this video, 23,000 people. And this is through a petition. Of course it would be. In the current day and age, petitions are a logical way of thinking for a lot of people. Now, I will say, I'm yet to ever see a situation where a petition has worked. However, that could change, and I may have just been oblivious to some situations where a petition has actually got the person who started it and the people who signed it what they want. Now, I'm not actually here to call the people who started the petition and all the people who have signed it stupid by any means, because I don't think any of you are, and I actually respect the level you're going to try and save Battlefront 2, but I think at the same time it is time to let go. I've seen a few channels cover this in a positive way, and I definitely want to stick with the positivity here. I'm not trying to tell anyone not to sign the petition. I think, like I said, it really shows what level, what degree these guys are willing to go to save their favourite game. And to be more specific with this petition, because I've seen it everywhere, like when I go into my held for review or likely spam sections on my comments, it's just this petition everywhere, and I approve absolutely every single one of those comments because I believe in freedom of speech, and like I said, if people feel they want to sign this, then I'm totally fine with that. Now, the petition is actually called Continue Paid Support for Star Wars Battlefront 2. And what is alarming about that is obviously the paid aspect that is going to turn some people away, but not just that. The 23,000 who have signed it so far, don't get me wrong, it's a big number, but it's not the biggest number in terms of things, and I definitely don't think, considering Battlefront 2 as I'm recording this has been cancelled for just over a week, where people are thinking about it more than ever right now and what it's been through and how it's finally over, I don't think 23,000 in just over a week is really a decent amount to be saving it. If I was EA and I saw this petition and I saw 23,000 signatures, I'd hardly be retracting my statements and bringing the game back. Now, yes, it could be to do with the paid element in the title, however, I highly doubt that because I think most people would, if they could, pay for content, but obviously then you've got the younger audience, which I would say is the vast majority, who might not be able to do that for whatever reason, which is completely understandable. It's going to be more your older players who are able to buy this stuff. I'm not saying every child out there wouldn't be able to do this, but for whatever reason, a lot of children might not be able to pay for content. And it depends as well what they mean by paid. Does it mean one season pass? Does it mean paying for multiple DLCs? Obviously it's unofficial, but it raises questions. And I think one of the worst things EA and DICE could do, and like I said, I don't think they're going to pay any attention to this anyway, but one of the worst things I think they could do is look at what they have done with Battlefront 2. From the pay-to-win situation at launch, they brought it back with free content, and they really redeemed the name of EA, more so the name of DICE, but they did redeem the name of EA in places. Do that and then cancel your game only to bring it back with paid content. That would look very money hungry on their side, which I think is an image they're trying to drop as much as possible, especially with the Star Wars license. Now, I classify myself as one of the smaller Battlefront 2 channels just because at launch I was very vocal about things, but once the game was in the state I wanted it to be in, that was my job done. And yes, I still upload here and there, but I was never dedicated to full-on content like some people are. I've got way too many things going on to be able to do that. But like I said, I classify myself as a small Battlefront channel, and I have more subscribers than this petition has signatures. Now that could easily change, of course, and I think it definitely could. But as someone who I say I have a small part of the community on my channel, for this to only raise 23,000 signatures in just over a week, like I said, from the game's cancellation where people are talking about it more than ever, doesn't convey the greatest message. And if I was EA, I would think, well, there's only 23,000 people here. That is clearly not enough for us to bring back content for a game. Maybe if it was 100,000, like I said, I don't feel petitions get listened to, and I do find them very pointless, to be honest. It's just a way of people banding together when they disagree with something, which is fine. But even if this was on 100,000, 200,000, I don't think it would bring the game back. Now, in order for that number to move up, because I would absolutely love to see this petition move up, although I'm not signing it, and I'll get onto why in a second, I'd love to see maybe some really big channels out there cover this and maybe try and get the number to, like I said, 100,000, 200,000. It's definitely possible with support of bigger YouTubers. But the reason I won't sign this is because I do feel it's time to let go of the game, and as hard as that is to say, because all this week I've been uploading LEGO Star Wars content, I think I've lost more subscribers than I've gained this week, but that's to be expected because it's a transition phase. Battlefront 2 was supported much longer than a lot of games are, okay? It's not the live service game that I still dream of today. Like, think of GTA, for example, still getting supported to this day. I think it's like 6 or 7 years on and they've not even made the next one. I'd love to see a Star Wars game that is supported for years and years like that, but that's not going to happen. But Battlefront 2 was supported much longer than a lot of other titles are, especially by EA. And it can't last forever. The longer you keep it going, the harder it's going to be able to accept it when things finally do come to an end. Things did come to an end abruptly. I definitely stand by that. I don't feel it was DICE's decision. I think that's pretty clear that it was the higher executives at EA, but it is time to let go. And I'm trying to cover LEGO Star Wars right now. I've also still got Battlefront videos I want to make, but Fallen Order 2 is in the works, not to mention whatever other projects they're working on. And in my opinion, it doesn't matter if there isn't a Battlefront 3 in the works, because you can't just stick with the same thing over and over again. You have to allow a change, in my opinion, or that's when Star Wars could get quite stale. It does take change sometimes, because most of us have absolutely enjoyed the Clone Wars. But remember when the Clone Wars first came out, and everybody, I say everybody, a lot of people didn't like it. They didn't like the thought of Star Wars going animated. They didn't like Ahsoka. They didn't like seeing all these classic characters animated in more of a kiddie form. But it had to earn respect. It was a change. It was something different, and that's what EA need to do as well. They've done 2 Battlefront games now. Of course, I would have loved both of them to go a bit better than they did, especially at launch. But they've done that now. Let them move on to something else. Let them continue the Jedi Fallen Order saga, whatever stuff they've got on, with that. Maybe they're doing a 3rd, a 4th. We don't even know if they're going to keep the license past, I believe it's 2022 or 2023. But if they do keep the license, let them do different things. Once they've done a few Jedi Fallen Order games, let them put that in the ground and move on to another project and let them do a few of that and then move on to something else. And in the middle of that, there could be so many other projects. I just feel it is time to move on. Of course, like I said, I didn't want it to abruptly happen like this, but the decision has been made, and I feel it is important to accept that decision, especially with the fact that not many people really are willing to pay for content, judging by this petition. I think EA would need a lot more. Like I said, 23,000 people. Now, I do think this is going to grow significantly, and I do think there's probably a lot of people out there who don't know about this. But in terms of, like I said, things being focused on Battlefront 2 right now, a lot of people are talking about it because of the situation. I would have expected a lot more from this. So that is my opinions on this petition. That's why I'm not signing it. But if you absolutely want to sign it, I know people in the comments are going to be posting the petition here, there and everywhere, and usually links get reported for spam or held as inappropriate. It's crazy, but if you just give me time, I do approve every single one of them, and I try to approve every comment unless things I just don't feel work. If they're offensive to someone else, I sometimes remove them, but I tend to keep every negative comment about myself in the comments section, every link, as long as it is a secure link, which I do check. So if you want to post the petition in the comments section, I will definitely give that option. And you know what, I'll link it in the description of this video if that makes things a bit easier, because I've spoken about it for the whole video, so I do feel it's only right that even though I don't sign it, I put it in the description for people who want to sign it.